Who would you pick to play Tom Brady in a movie?
Michael Fassbender.
Oh, great pick. Great pick.
Kind of looks like him.
He's
looks
tall
like
and they look similar. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say Chris Pine because they're around the same age.
Oh yeah, I can see that for sure.
They have similar faces.
Got like a pretty good build and stuff. He could be a quarterback.
I have Jamie Dornan, who was just in Belfast, and he's a great actor. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the show. Anthony here.
And James here, and we are doing our football movies episode because the Super Bowl number 56 is happening this Sunday versus the Los Angeles Rams and Cincinnati Bengals. And we have a special guest today, Brock Wright, who is a tight end for the Detroit Lions. Thanks so much for joining the show, Brock. How you doing?
Doing awesome. Thanks for having me on, guys. Like I told y'all before, I'm a big fan, so I'm excited to be here.
We're happy to have your perspective because we love football. We love football movies. And who else to get a better perspective than an actual NFL player, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's great. Who are we taking in the Super Bowl? I'm going Cincy.
I'm going Joe Burr all day. Joe Burr.
I got friends on both sides, so I'm gonna stay neutral. I'm just
smart
for a good game. Yeah.
But Brock Wright, so you went to Notre Dame. Again, you played tight end. Went to the NFL undrafted. Congratulations for first making the Detroit Lions practice squad team. Then you just signed with them in November to the active roster. So that's incredible. He's already got 2 touchdowns under his belt. Rookie season, so cool. How's like the first touchdown feel?
It was surreal. It was pretty awesome. I had a bunch of people ask me that question afterwards, and you can't describe it, but you're all juiced up. Definitely one of the coolest things I've gotten to do.
That was a great catch. Goff threaded the needle between those 2 defenders.
Yeah, he did.
And then the reverse flea flicker for your second TD was insane. That was crazy.
That was fun. I was so pumped we called that, and that was a fun game too. Good way to end the season.
That's great to get that many 2 touchdowns in 4 games played, 5 games played.
I played in 10 games total, but so I was really happy to get those and end the season off strong. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're in training for next season. So what's that looking like right now?
Yeah, it's nice. So this is my first off season really, which is pretty cool because normally, in college, whenever you finish up the season, you maybe after the bowl game get 2 weeks off, and then you got to start school back up again. And then you go into off-season training and things like that. So it's just a real grind. But now, whenever you're done with the season, you have off until you have to go back for OTAs in the springtime. So you basically get to hang out for a little bit, see family, and then get back into training. So like I told you guys earlier, I just got out to Arizona to do a little bit of training with some buddies. So enjoying the sunshine and
hell yeah.
A little bit.
Just working out for a living. Sounds awesome.
So are you doing the Ben Roethlisberger off season or the Tom Brady off season?
Trying to lean more towards the Tom Brady.
Pliability. It's what it's all about. Hydration and pliability, right?
Right.
And so you're a movie fan. You found us, which is awesome. So we're so happy you're a fan of the show.
What are some of your favorite movies?
That's probably like No Country for Old Men.
Nice.
It's normally the one I tell people if I get asked that question. I'm a huge Tarantino fan, so you can pick any of his.
Oh, yeah.
Glorious Bastards, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Pulp Fiction, all those. And then, football-wise, Friday Night Lights is my favorite. So
it's a classic.
Nice.
Classic. Yeah. What about in 2021? What were your favorite movies you saw?
Oh, that's a good question. I just saw Nightmare Alley the other day.
That was great.
Yeah, I went to the theaters, and it was actually in black and white, the version I saw, which I didn't expect.
They did a re-release for it. It's great.
Yeah, I thought it was awesome. Really liked it. I thought The Last Duel was phenomenal, which I know you guys noted on it earlier in the podcast, like a few months back, that it really didn't get a whole lot of noise in the media, which I didn't understand because I thought it was a great film and the performances were awesome. Like what's her name?
Jodie Comer. Yeah, she's great.
She was great, and I was really hoping that she'd get nominated for that.
I don't think it didn't get a single nomination for the Oscars.
The nominees came out today.
I thought that's like top 5 for me the entire year for sure.
It's like that kind of movie. If it had come out 5 years ago, it would have cleaned up for sure.
But I mean, there were just a lot of really good movies. Yeah, a ton of good movies this year came out.
Yeah,
but I mean, is what it is.
I thought it was epic.
I saw Dune. I know you guys are huge Dune. I made the mistake of not seeing it in IMAX. I wish I could have done that first because the theater I saw it in, the sound wasn't that great. Yeah. So if I go back and watch it again, I want to do it in like the IMAX or where I have some good sound.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to do another re-release. They did a re-release 2 weeks ago, so I went and saw it for a third time in IMAX because I had to see Timmy on the big screen, and that movie's insane. But
yeah, and Hans Zimmer's score just shakes the seats.
yeah, it's pretty epic, but
wild.
it's still great in regular theaters. But I love that you understand why we hype IMAX up so much because it's literally a different experience. It really is.
It makes a difference. It is too.
insane.
I'm such a big movie theater guy. Like watching movies at home is great, but it's nothing like seeing it in the theater. So I'm all for going.
For real. All right, how about we dive into some football movies, guys?
Let's do it.
So we put together a list of some of our favorite football movies, and I think maybe start off with I think our favorite football movie would be Remember the Titans.
Yeah, that movie was 99 or 2000 it came out, and that we saw that when we were kids, and it just blew my mind. It was so culturally relevant. I thought Denzel was an amazing character actor in that film, the coach he played, and it's still relevant to this day, the divisions between the races in this story, and then how these kids come together during training camp and they become brothers in arms, and you know that better than anyone how that can bond you. They experience a training camp and being on a team. So I think it's just a fantastic sports movie.
Yeah, I'm sure you can speak to going to war with dudes every day in battle, whether it be training camp, OTAs, or practices, but then on the battlefield as well.
Yeah, no doubt. And that's I put Remember the Titans first on my list just because when you ask people, it's normally the answer you get, like, what's the best football movie of all time? And, the football in it isn't the reason it's good. It's because of the stuff that y'all mentioned. And it is a powerful film. And also Denzel, you got to love him. So,
Goat.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, that's at the top of the list.
Not to mention Ryan Gosling was suspect at cornerback in that movie.
120 pounds soaking wet.
So if I had to bring it up. All right, what are you putting on your list next for great football movies?
My personal favorite, like I mentioned already, is Friday Night Lights. Mm-hmm. And a large part of that's me being from Texas. So growing up, like Texas high school football was king.
It's like a religion out there.
It is, and it's cool because my dad grew up in West Texas and, played Permian when he was in high school. And so it's a big deal for us. And then growing up, that's the movie we would watch before each season started, invite the guys over to the house. Training camp starting tomorrow. Hey, let's watch Friday Night Lights. And also talk about one of the greatest soundtracks of all time.
Yeah.
I think that movie has an awesome soundtrack. Explosions in the Sky. It's great. Peter Berg directed it. So,
Peter Berg's done a lot of the Mark Wahlberg movies.
Yeah, Lone Survivor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's definitely number one on my list for all those.
Well, yeah.
Did you ever watch the show?
I did. I did, and I didn't watch it for a long time because I heard it was really dramatic, and but I finally watched it, and I actually really enjoyed it. It is a little bit more dramatic, and it's
like soapy.
Soapy was that's how I describe it. But the characters are great. So.
Yeah, I haven't seen the show, but the movie's great. Peter Berg's a really underrated director, and I think like Derek Luke is such a standout in that movie. He's the running back that gets injured, and he has to deal with the turmoil of like he didn't work hard at school, so now his future is in jeopardy because he was planning on being an athlete forever.
Plus, Billy Bob Thornton's the the coach in that, right? And then the kid from Tokyo Drift Fast and Furious is the quarterback. So that's a classic, I think. I think they did a great job just like making the football seem realistic, but also keeping like the dramatic elements kind of like it's sort of like Varsity Blues in a little bit, like which we can talk about too, because that's kind of like a Southern high school football movie as well too.
Yeah. And I think the strength of the movie is it approaches football as like it's the show for the entire town that week. Like everyone from the town goes to watch football at this stadium.
Well, same thing with Varsity Blues. The quarterbacks have billboards for them. Like when Moxon becomes quarterback after Paul Walker's character injures himself, and like John Moxon is like the billboard. It's crazy. Like, is that real? They're billboards of players in towns?
Not like, I mean, maybe once upon a time. It's not like that anymore. But I mean, our stadium seated, like 12,000 people, I think, that we played in.
At high school? Wow.
Yeah, and we pack it out almost every week. I went to a school with over 3,000 kids, and on the weekends, everyone wanted to go to the football game. So it really is a big deal, but that's what makes it fun.
And if you're like a varsity starter, does like everyone in town like know who you are? You're like a celebrity, kind of like an athlete on the football team. Like, it's Brock walking into Walmart over here. Oh my God.
No.
You getting some football gloves? What's up?
No, not like that. But around school, you feel like a big dog for sure.
Yeah, but I like Varsity Blues a lot. It's really funny. It's more of just like the kind of like classic cliche high school movie with the good football
It's like
stuff
a teen
as well.
comedy as a football movie.
Yeah, but I
drama.
like John Voight as the coach in that is
Yeah.
awesome. He's just like this tyrant coach who just like is using his players expendable and just making them like go through hell just to get wins and become a champion.
Yeah, they're generally great actors who play the coaches. I think because it's a cool role for coaches, especially that role. He's such an intense person.
Yeah, being a head coach, that's a definitely a good role for sure. All right, Anthony, what's another one you think of?
Bobby Boucher's movie, The Waterboy,
Classic.
one of my favorites as a kid. We watched this so many times. The
Waterboy?
Yeah, it was endlessly quotable.
Bobby Boucher.
And Girls are the Devil.
It's great. I mean, Adam Sandler, this was in his prime. He was not missing at all with these movies. Like he was like Big Daddy. Even Mr. Deeds was funny. And then, The Waterboy is classic. And he's basically hit or miss nowadays. Mostly misses. But The Waterboy is still like one of his all-time best movies. It's actually a really good football movie. It's super funny. Bobby Boucher is classic. I'm sure you've known a couple of Bobby Bouchers maybe in your past. Some crazy linebackers.
In college, we would always call there would always be one Bobby Boucher on each kickoff team. And that was the dude who would run down. He would run down with no regard for his body at all. Normally, he'd be wearing a cowboy collar. And he's the guy that you didn't want to block, but for some reason, coach would always put you on him. So that's who
complete madman.
No one wears cowboy collars anymore. I haven't seen one in a while. Like what? Did Urlacher wear one? Or,
he always wore one,
or Romanowski wore one.
John Favreau wears one in The Replacements.
Oh, the Replacements he wears one. But that's not really a thing anymore in the NFL, is it? Cowboy collar.
There's a few guys that still have them.
Is it too easy to grab?
I don't know. It's probably just you're probably not very mobile with it. I mean, that's the idea.
You're like Batman. You can't
turn left. All right, Brock, pick another movie for us. What do you got?
Let's see. So I'll go with We Are Marshall is another one of mine. I'm a huge McConaughey fan. That's another emotional story. But that's one of my favorites for sure. I just love McConaughey in it and the story of that university and kind of what they went through. So great movie, great story. I think it's a good movie.
Yeah, McConaughey always had flashes of great acting in his early career, and this is one of them. He played a lawyer in a couple of movies that are really great performances, and I always knew he had a potential to be like one of the greatest actors working, which he is now, and this is definitely one of those roles where he basically carried that movie.
Yeah, because he was doing rom-coms, so many of them, like Failure to Launch and like The Ghosts of
Sweet Home
Girlfriend's
Alabama.
Past, stuff like that. So he's making movies, and like who wouldn't say yes to all those roles? You're making good money. You're a superstar. You're like
$10 million a movie.
You're like a sex icon to a ton of people around the world.
And
so
to
I mean,
James.
it's a good living. Dude, McConaughey, he's the man. All right. Come on, he's the hair god nowadays. But McConaughey, like the first time when I saw Mud. When I saw that, I'm like, holy crap, this guy can act. But it wasn't until I also saw We Are Marshall like years after I saw Mud that I'm like, all right, this guy was legit. Like you said, he always had glimpses of being a great actor, just needed the right roles. And I think it takes a while. Like once you get in the like a stigma or like a prototype of an actor in Hollywood, it seems like those are the only roles you can get for a little while until you start breaking out like he did.
Yeah, I think he was choosing the money. But We Are Marshall is a really moving film. Incredible story. It's heartfelt and very endearing. Great movie.
All right, I'm going to go next. I'm going to say Any Given Sunday. I think this movie's really underrated. I think Pacino's awesome as the coach, and then Jamie Foxx is the hot young quarterback coming and taking the job from the injured vet. But I think that this movie, it like captures what I'm assuming is like incredibly blinding speed of football on an NFL field compared to like every other movie we've seen with the NFL. But it just seems like they captured like the camera's always shaking. You can't see, like there's people flying everywhere, and it just seems super confusing because of how fast it is. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It seems realistic to me in a way.
Yeah.
Even though I've never been on a football field in the NFL like this guy.
Yeah, I'd say more so than definitely a lot of films. I know that was one of the things y'all wanted to talk about do any films actually capture football play realistically? And the answer is no. Mm-hmm. It's hard to, but there's a few that do it better. And Any Given Sunday is probably a little bit towards the better of them. To be honest, I haven't seen the entire movie. I've seen some of the football scenes, and then of course Pacino's speech, which is one of the most probably one of the most famous like sports speeches in a movie. My dad used to play that for me all the time.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I've definitely heard that many times.
What's always missing is with the actual gameplay. I feel like, I mean, just from looking at from an audience member perspective, it doesn't feel like they're actually playing full speed on camera for sure. It doesn't, and it seems like maybe not all of the players have like the highest caliber talent. You can tell that they're not all incredible athletes, maybe.
Well, it's impossible. I mean, I'm sure most of the players on the field for a movie may have played in high school, maybe in college, may just be athletes from other sports that look the part. But I mean, I know a lot of people that if they don't know much about football, they don't understand how incredibly complex it is for just every position on the field. It's super complicated. There's so many rules. Every play is super hyper unique and can be changed by just a little thing happening on the field. And I'm sure Brock can tell us about like football. People think it's a bunch of meatheads just smashing into each other, but it's so much more than that. It really is. It takes years to like finally understand all the rules and everything that's going on the field.
Yeah, it's very technical, and that's what, if you ask me what is it missing, I would say there's probably two things that football movies do wrong, or the reason it looks so fake. And the first one would be most of the time it looks like the actors they're not moving correctly. Like maybe they're not athletic or they've never done it before. You see a quarterback dropping back and it's like, okay, this guy's never, actually thrown a football before. and then the other thing they do is they try and make it super dramatic and over the top. So they try and have these huge collisions of people jumping over the line and sacking the quarterback, like Palomalu or something. But but when you do that on film, it's cool and it's great for a movie, but it's not realistic to what football is. So, but I mean, that's a whole nother story. I mean, you kind of want to see that when you're watching a football movie. You want to see the exciting over the top plays because that's what's fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, they're always going for the money shot, but how epic would it be if like someone made a film and there was like a 10-minute long take of like an entire drive from one end of the field to the other end of the field?
It'd be cool.
You could do it with the CGI football and just mime the plays, maybe, would be the best way to do it.
I just feel like maybe non-football fans would understand what's happening in the game because it'd be too fast. It's too complicated, but it's a lot easier when they slow it down. Like, it always bugs me when you watch a football movie and the quarterback, he does like a 3-step, 5-step drop. He's chilling back there
hanging
for
out.
like 15 seconds. And like, how is a DN not ripping his face off right now? Like, he's not scrambling.
It's like Chris Evans, not another teen movie. Like, There Goes My Hero's playing. He's just like hanging out back there.
No, the teen movie does a great job spoofing that. It's so funny. He does like 4 backdrops. He's just like looking around because it's so fast. We get it. It's impossible to capture. Basketball is a little easier to do. Baseball is probably the easiest to capture in film of all sports.
And the average audience member doesn't even know what like Brock's position is, a tight end.
For sure.
I mean, I'm sure Gronk made it more widely known because he's so famous, but I still think a lot of the average person doesn't really know what a tight end does.
Even pre-Gronk, like Tony Gonzalez, even though he was a superstar, one of the best all time, I'm sure a lot of people still didn't understand what the hell a tight end was compared to a wide receiver.
Yeah.
Which is, that's a great point, Anthony.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Well, there's still not even a lot of high school teams, and even some college teams don't really use the tight end that much. So it's kind of interesting for sure. But
how long have you been playing tight end for? Did you like play in high school or were you a wide receiver?
I started in middle school, so
playing tight end.
Yeah, for a long time now. Yeah.
Just pancaking little kids.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're probably like 6'2" in like 8th grade.
I grew pretty fast. That's why I love
mustache and everything, just like lining up and pop water, just taking kids' heads off. Have your birth certificate on the sideline just in case.
I am 12.
All right, anyways. Sorry, I cracked myself up there. I'll go next, and I'm going to pick Invincible. Now, this movie... Mikey Mack, he traded in the Pats hat and jersey for the Philadelphia Eagles, which he plays Vince Papale, which I like to make fun of. I always make fun of Philadelphia because... Nothing against Philadelphia sports. They're great. There are icons there, like Donovan McNabb's great. He's a legend, Hall of Famer. And then we have, Allen Iverson, obviously. But, like, the 2 biggest sports icons that had movies made into them were a special teams player on the Eagles and then an imaginary boxer. So it's just kind of funny that Vince Papale gets a movie and Rocky has a movie. And they're the sports heroes in Philly when it comes to film. But I feel like they could make like a movie about Iverson or something like that, which they should do soon. But I like Invincible.
A Mike Vick movie would be really interesting.
That would be interesting.
He's had a really roller coaster life and career. But yeah, Invincible was good. I didn't know the story before the film, and then it is an inspiring story, which is why it was made. But like you said, he's just a special teams player.
It's a great underdog story. Some guy just going to the tryouts, which is awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like Invincible, Brock?
I do, and obviously I'm a huge Marky Mark fan. So, and an awesome story. I've heard really good things about Vince Papale as a person in real life. So, I actually had a football coach who knows him. And was actually going to have him speak to us one year, but ended up not working out.
Damn.
But yeah, awesome story. And
was he a bartender before?
Yeah, I think he was just working at that. Well, in the movie, he was a bartender.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. Just playing pickup football with his friends in the rain, in the mud, in that parking
the
lot.
mud.
And jeans. Like, you might want to put some sweatpants on, bro. You're going to pull a hammy in those things.
That's amazing. All right, I'm going next, and I'm picking The Replacements. Keanu, and a great cast. This is like obviously a very inaccurate football movie, but it is just really funny. I think it was more really made for kids because we watched it when we were like 12, 13, and we really loved it. It was just a good time.
It was legendary. Yeah.
Shane
Falco is like, I like to imagine he's a real quarterback and like was like a real guy, and he lost the Rose Bowl and he tore his knee, everything. Like, he's awesome. Keanu's like my favorite. Shane Falco's my favorite quarterback in film, I think, of all time. I love that he's a southpaw. Keanu kind of looks like a quarterback. He seems like he's got okay form, you know. He seems pretty decent. But in terms of the realism of the plays and like especially the practice, they're just like hanging out and like eating
dancing
like hard-boiled eggs and like hitting pads like every once in a while. It seems super unauthentic to actual football.
Yeah, probably one of the most unrealistic movies, but I knew you guys were going to throw it in there because y'all are big fans, so I love that.
Classic.
You got to love Keanu, especially as a quarterback. It's awesome.
Shane Falco. I would wear a Shane Falco jersey. I should probably get one.
Living on a boat.
We should have got a replacement sequel instead of The Matrix 4.
Yeah, that would have been better.
That would have been fun. But before we get into that, it's 2022 and it's almost Valentine's Day, so now's the time to get some goodies for the significant other in your life from Manscaped.com. I recommend the Lawnmower 4.0 Groomer from Manscaped.com. Use our coupon code Raiders of the Lost at checkout. You'll get 20% off and free shipping your entire order today. The Ultra Premium Collection also just launched. It's the Ultimate Wet Goods Bundle, which the man in your life would love. So it has deodorant, yes, actual deodorant from Manscaped, body wash, 2-in-1 shampoo, conditioner, hydrating body spray, and the package also comes with a free set of Manscaped lip balm. So Valentine's Day, again, this is the perfect place to get a gift for the man in your life. Use our coupon code Raiders of the Lost at checkout for 20% off and free shipping on your entire order today. Online privacy is becoming more of a necessity every day, and less than $4 a month is a small price to pay for online protection. Our new sponsor, NordVPN, has you covered. Use our link, nordvpn.com/Raiders, or use the code Raiders at checkout to get up to 70% off your NordVPN plan plus one additional month for free. A VPN is a virtual private network that gives you online privacy and anonymity by creating a private network from a public internet connection. NordVPN also gives you the ability to access streaming services like HBO, Netflix, Hulu, as well as TV and movie content libraries from other countries at no extra price. NordVPN protects your personal data, hides your IP address when you use the internet, plus you can use it from multiple devices. Without a VPN, all your internet traffic is potentially exposed to your internet service provider, the government, advertisers, or other people on your network. It's the equivalent to buying a cup of coffee every month, a small price to pay for premium cybersecurity and access to vast amounts of entertaining content, and there is no way we will go back to using the internet without one ever again. There's also a 30-day money-back guarantee if NordVPN is not for you, so there's no risk. Grab your exclusive NordVPN deal by going to nordvpn.com/Raiders or use the code Raiders at checkout to get up to 70% off your NordVPN plan plus one additional month for free. The end of it doesn't always make sense to me because
what happens again?
Well, they're the replacements, and then they're filling in for all these athletes that are holding out because they wanted higher pay. Mm-hmm. And then they make the playoffs with all these practice squad people and guys who were football players and haven't played in years, like Shane Falco, who's scraping mussels and clams off of boats. and then they just go back to their normal jobs. Like, what team would not sign Shane Falco at the end of that season?
That's true, yeah.
Like, I would sign him to a 5-year deal, no problem. He led this team to the playoffs. Like, come on.
He grew as a character, man.
Yeah, he did, and an athlete. And we all remembered, like, he's better than
And he
just
got the cheerleader.
Yeah, he got the girl, too. But I would sign Shane Falco in a heartbeat.
That's why you're not a GM.
He's got the quarterback face, everything you need. He's a leader.
You know why the quarterback face is a thing? Why quarterbacks are generally more handsome?
Because of confidence.
Yeah, well, confidence because when they're kids, people are more likely to pick someone that they find attractive looking. So they were always picked first for any kind of sports growing up, and that gave them confidence whenever they played sports.
Oh, that's pretty
Yeah,
interesting.
so it's a psychology thing.
Thanks for the assessment, Freud.
No problem.
Makes sense.
That's what I'm here for.
All right, Brock, you want to give us...
I hear that
what's
about
up?
tight ends too.
Oh,
I hear
yeah.
that about tight ends too.
Yeah, Brock's got the tight end face. There's a bunch of footballs have been hit in his face.
How fast can Jared Goff throw a football?
He
you
can
guys-
whip it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. They definitely do tests on that. So I'm
Uh-huh.
sure he probably knows. I couldn't tell you.
Are they throwing it maybe between 70 and 80 miles per hour?
It's 65 to
Yeah.
80. Like Brady threw 70 on a machine last year in the offseason. But I mean, between Mahomes, Goff, and then Josh Allen probably
Yeah, he probably
has
slings
the
it.
biggest cannon in the league. That
Yeah.
guy's could throw it out of the goddamn stadium. It looks like. Guy is huge and just
6'7"?
Can you imagine
Yeah.
taking a pass from him? Obviously only Brock can catch it with his tight end face, but I'm not catching that thing. Sorry, I keep roasting Brock for no reason. All right. You want to give us a movie, Brock?
Yeah. I'll go. The movie I was going to say earlier, but we had just done Waterboy. I was going to go with Longest Yard, and I felt like doing those back to back didn't make sense. But Longest Yard would be my number one comedy football movie.
The original or the Adam Sandler one?
I'm saying that the Adam Sandler one. The original is
Nice.
awesome, and I think they're actually pretty similar. I think they did a good job of mirroring the two.
Mhm.
But I'm a huge Adam Sandler fan, and I think that movie was great, especially with having some former NFL guys in there too, like Michael Irvin.
Yeah.
The boss is in there, so Stone Cold Steve Austin's in there,
That's right, yeah. And Nelly plays running back in that movie too.
running around with those shoes on. That movie's always good. It's one of those, if it's on TV, I'll throw it on. It's wherever it's at in the movie, I'll watch it for a little
Yeah.
bit.
Guards versus prisoners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a classic.
It's
The
a
old
great
one's
game.
great too with Bert Reynolds because Bert was actually, I think he played football in college, but he had an injury and went to acting instead. But Adam Sandler does a great job with the athletics. And I mean, I know we've all seen him play pick up basketball and everything, but I mean, he can play. He's pretty good.
Yeah, I thought that was a really funny movie. That's a great one. I think it's really underrated for Adam Sandler's movies.
It's very solid.
People never put
yeah.
it in the list of favorite
Yeah,
Sandler
you're right because I
movies.
think people forget about it.
Yeah.
But I think it's really good.
Right.
100%.
All right, let's see what else we got on the list.
We got Rudy.
Yeah, Rudy.
Yeah, classic.
All time. And
Probably-
you went to Notre Dame, so I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys watch that every day, right?
It's part of the curriculum.
I grew up watching it, and that's what everyone. Obviously, everyone every year at Notre Dame they actually play it in the stadium on the stadium jumbotron, and they invite all the students to come watch it on the field. So it's kind of cool. And I was a fan of the movie before I went to school there, and then after going to school there, watching it, it was cool because you'd see buildings in the movie that I took classes in and was walking by every day. So it's pretty cool. And it's. That's a cool story too. Pretty emotional. It's not when you hear about it in real life, it's not super realistic to what actually happened, but
They sensationalized it a little bit.
yeah, quite a bit. But still, it's an awesome film, and it's definitely one of my favorite football movies. I had it on my list.
Before Sean Austin was Samwise, he was Rudy.
Yeah. I love Rudy. It's
Yeah.
so inspirational. And then, the team ends up picking him up and making him part of the team and just lifting him up in the air. It's classic. He makes that play, he makes the tackle, and it's awesome. It's
Yeah.
the ultimate feel good movie.
Did he really make that tackle?
Oh yeah, he really
Yeah.
did. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, my favorite part of the movie too is probably young Vince Vaughn and young John Favreau.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's right.
It's crazy.
That's one of my favorite lines is when Favreau's in the stands and he says, "Who's the wild man now?" Debo, I think his character's name, hilarious.
Yeah. He was Rudy's buddy in that
Yeah, that reminds me, like School Ties. You guys ever seen School Ties? That's an old football movie with like, it's like kind of Dead Poets Society except football instead of poetry.
Yeah, Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, Brendan Fraser, and then Matt Damon's in it. And
Affleck's in it.
Affleck's in it.
Hoffman's in it.
It's about prejudice against Jewish people because Brendan Fraser plays a Jew who goes to this. It's like a Catholic or Christian
boarding school,
prep boarding school, and like they have a great football team, and they bring him in to play quarterback because they can't beat the rival team, and then everyone starts to find out that he's a Jew, and then they all start to turn on him.
Yeah, Brendan Fraser breed out all of those actors for the lead role. They all were vying for it.
It's pretty good. It's like, but like all those actors are so young in it. It's crazy.
Yeah, Chris O'Donnell's in it.
Yeah, everyone's in that movie. It's crazy. What else we got?
We got Ballers, which I haven't seen, and then Playmakers for TV shows.
Okay, yeah. So TV shows. Have you ever seen Playmakers? Do you remember? You ever heard of that? So that was on ESPN. It ran for 1 year.
Their first narrative thing ever.
And it was based on like a fictional football team.
I think it was the Lions.
No, it was a fictional team.
Fictional? Okay.
Yeah, so it was all fictional.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it was maybe a little too realistic maybe to some of the things that happened behind the scenes because they covered not just what's happening in the locker rooms, but also they were covering intense issues like domestic violence, drug abuse, and like all sorts of stuff. And I think maybe the NFL didn't like the press that it was probably getting, but I thought it was an awesome show. And even the issues, it had a gay player on the football team too who won MVP won a spot on the All-Star team, the only player on the team to be on the All-Star team, and dealt with issues like that could happen inside of a locker room. So I thought that was an awesome show, and I don't know if you've ever checked it out, but I highly recommend it.
Yeah,
listening.
They canceled it after one season, but it was pretty crazy. Yeah,
and then Ballers is the HBO show
with John David in it,
which I've never seen.
Denzel's son.
John David Washington.
Yeah,
but also The Rock too.
Yeah, The Rock. Yeah, John David's the man right now. He's killing it.
So he did that. Then he did Black Klansman. So because I think Spike Lee watched him in that.
Yeah,
and then he's like, I want to talk to you about a role.
He played football as well. I'm pretty sure. I think he
Rams.
did a training camp. He was running back, and then got into acting.
Yeah,
I tell people Ballers is like if you wanted to take Entourage and make it a sports show.
Mm-hmm. It's exactly what it feels like to me.
Yeah. All the cameos and stuff. It's kind of it's the same. It's like instead of Hollywood, let's take it to the sports world.
Yeah, yeah. We were just talking about John David Washington being in the NFL on the Spike Lee episode, and how a lot of people are like, oh, he only made that teams and was in the NFL because his father's Denzel. It's like people don't understand like what goes into football. Like these teams would be full of people's sons if that's all it took. Like you have to.
They don't give a shit where you come from.
Either a phenomenal athlete. Or just a very good athlete, but also the hard work and the intense ethic that you have to that goes into just making a professional sports team is absurd. I mean, you went undrafted and probably worked your butt off just to be signed into that team, and so like that just takes away the work that goes into making an NFL football team.
Right. The only thing they care about is winning and performance. So if you're not doing that, then it doesn't matter who you are. You're not going to be on the team.
Yeah, if you don't deliver, you're gone.
If Denzel was my dad, I wouldn't be on the Rams.
You'd be chilling.
All right, how about we run into our intermission and let's do it. Do a little fun. How's that sound, Brock?
Let's do it.
All right, so I have a movie quote for you guys to try to guess.
Let's
ready?
hear it.
I have nipples, Greg. Could you milk me?
Oh man, I feel like
we
I
called
know
him
this.
Geppetto. We called him Geppetto.
Meet the Parrots.
Yeah, Meet the Parrots.
Okay.
Oh man, that's a great one. All right, here's mine. Wait a minute. You come into my house, my party, to tell me about the future. The future is tape, videotape, and not film. And it's amateurs, not professionals. I'm a filmmaker. That's why I will never make a movie on videotape.
I know this one. That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Brock, you got any guesses?
No, I don't know.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one.
Yeah, I went hard.
Boogie Nights.
Boogie Nights.
Yeah, Bert Reynolds. There you go. That's a tough one. Stumper.
That's a great movie. That's a PTA, isn't it?
That's right. I got the poster right here.
Got a poster on as well.
Oh, really? Yeah. I watched that for the first time probably this past year for the full length through, and I thought it was great. I think it's one of his best movies.
Oh,
yeah,
100%.
Absolutely.
That opening long take shot blows my mind every time.
Oh, it's awesome.
Going into the club.
It's an epic. It's almost 3 hours. That was his second movie, and he just that burst him onto the steam. All right, you're up, bro.
All right. I feel like maybe I've done this one before, but let's say it anyways. Let's see. The first character says, "How have things been going?" Second one says, "Oh, strikes and gutters, ups and downs."
Is that Big Lebowski?
Is that Lebowski?
Yeah.
Yes. Nice.
The dude.
The dude. I'm
That's
the
just
dude.
that's just like your opinion, man.
Bunch of amateurs. All right, let's do guess the movie release year, fellas.
All right.
Mission Impossible, the original OG.
Ooh, by Brian De Palma. Oh, that's a good one. I'm gonna go with 1996.
What about you, Brock?
Man, I'll go 98.
97, guys.
Are you kidding me?
Stumped you both.
Good one.
I had to let Anthony go first, or else I was going to be way off.
Let me. Yeah, he
You
pulled.
made a judgment call.
No, that was the Price is Right move right there. I'm gonna let him guess first, then I'll guess 1 or 2 away.
Yeah. Exactly.
I always love watching that. Like someone's like, guess the price of this laundry machine, and then they do 1,000. The next person's like 1,001, and then you
The other person just looks at them like, "Are
dirty
you
look.
kidding me? You motherfucker!"
I want that laundry machine.
All right, here's mine. Deliverance with Bert Reynolds.
Oh man, Bert Reynolds questions today. I like it.
I did Bert Reynolds once.
I'm gonna guess. Brock's waiting for me to say it.
I'll go first if you want me to.
Go for
Do
it.
it. Do it. I'm gonna wait for Brock to guess. I'm gonna Price is Right him.
Deliverance. I'll go. This may be way off. I'll say 82.
That's what I was. I'm gonna go 83.
You guys are both way off. 72.
70. That's that old.
That's an old movie.
Wow. Holy crap, man.
He looks.
Yeah.
He looks fairly old in it.
Yeah, well, he's always had like an old face.
He
like,
probably
you know,
looked
Mel
like that when he
Gibson.
was 10, kind of like Brock. I'm guessing.
But John Voight's super young in it.
That's right.
Yeah,
Man, that movie is
it's
intense.
a crazy movie.
All right, your turn, pal.
All right. Silver Linings Playbook.
2009?
I'm
No,
going,
2011.
I'm going 2011 as well.
2012.
Ah! Why you copying my answer, man?
It sounded like a good answer.
That's my quarterback face confidence coming out.
Man, I love that movie.
All right, movie pop quiz time, guys.
Okay.
What was the first CGI lead character in a movie?
Lead character, so not just
CGI
like
Not just like a small character, a lead character that was completely CGI.
in a live action movie.
in a live action film.
Okay.
Not an animated movie. Live action
That's
movie.
a good question.
It is a good question.
That's a great
I know, right?
question. Damn.
Wow.
Hold on, I gotta think about this.
Yeah.
It's
Can we
tough.
get a hint? Like, was it a sci-fi movie?
No, well, no.
Hold on, I don't want to hit.
It's not. I wouldn't. I mean, technically, it's kind of sci-fi.
Are
Kind
they
of
the lead of the movie?
the lead character of the movie.
They are?
Yeah.
Okay. Lead character animated in a CGI movie. Wow, what a great question. It's got to be, it can't be that old of a movie. It's got to be like 2000s, the earliest.
I'll give you a hint. It's older. It's older than that.
It's older than that.
It's older than 2000s.
It's CGI?
No, it's a live action movie CGI lead character.
Yeah, no, I'm CGI movie character. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. It's a CGI character.
Is it a CGI character, though? I'm going with Space Jam.
All right. What about you, Brock?
That's a good one. I don't. CGI lead character.
It's a pretty good guess. Not bad.
I don't know. I'm still feeling like sci-fi, like Star Wars or something.
Could be.
It is a little sci-fi. I'll tell you that it was, for another hint, it's in the 90s, so that Anthony's Space Jam guess is in there, but it's a 90s movie.
Oh. I don't know. I have no.
Casper,
Casper!
1995. So it's kind of sci-fi to go.
Yeah, that's obvious now.
Yeah.
Halloween. Yeah.
Oh, man. That is, yeah, and it didn't have to look perfect. It looked cartoony and it was fine.
Yeah.
It passed off.
But that's CGI. But I think
Yeah.
Space Jam's animated, so that's
yeah,
animation.
it's hand drawn.
Yeah.
I think it was 3D animation, so they use
But still,
computers to fine touch it.
maybe,
but he
but it was-
bugs in a lead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
neither
either,
is Casper.
I think it actually is hand drawn,
Yeah.
isn't it? It's like
I think it's combined.
it's like the.
I think I
Who
might be
Framed-
right.
It's like
I think I
no,
might be
no,
right.
that's the answer.
All right.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit? CGI. So Space
Got
Jam's,
it.
Space
Yeah.
Jam's animated.
Yeah. Understood.
There's a difference. All right.
Okay, here's my quiz question. That was a great question, by the way.
Thanks, pal.
That
Appreciate it.
might be the best one we've ever had.
Thanks. I really appreciate that. Can you say that again?
No. All right. What two movies did Mark Wahlberg and George Clooney make together? They starred in two movies together. What are they?
Marky Mark and George Clooney.
Yep. Both leads in these two movies.
What?
Yep. 2.
Huh.
You both look pretty stumped.
You look so happy that we're stumped.
I feel like that should be popping into my head, but I can't picture George
think of
Clooney
one.
together.
I'm thinking of George Clooney movies. Like,
You're gonna hate yourself when I tell you.
I'm gonna hate myself.
Yeah.
Let's go through it. Like, it's none of the.
Well, one of them is a war movie, right?
It is. One of them is a war movie.
Three Kings or something.
Correct.
Oh, Three
There's
Kings.
one.
That's right.
That's one of them.
There you go, Brock. All right, Three Kings. I love that movie. That's a good movie.
Any other guesses?
Hold on.
Y'all want a hint?
That was a really good question. Yeah, we'll take a hint.
Okay. It's in the Boston area.
It's in the Boston area.
Yeah.
What Boston area movie is George Clooney in?
Do you want another hint?
Yeah.
It takes place on a boat, guy.
Oh! Oh my God! I forgot. What's it called?
Perfect Storm.
Perfect Storm.
Damn.
Perfect Storm.
Nice
Wow.
job.
Good question, man.
Yeah, nice job.
That was awesome.
Brock took it home for you, man.
Yeah, way to go, Brock. That was all him. He said both movies.
Yeah. And they made them within 2 years of each other.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Perfect Storm's a good movie.
Yeah,
it
it
is
is
good.
solid.
My turn.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's see. Which president does Forrest Gump meet after becoming an All-American?
Oh,
He meets a
it's a
couple
trick
presidents
question. Yeah, I
after.
like that. Because he meets Nixon, right? Or no? He calls Watergate.
He
so
meets Reagan, and he meets someone else. Who was before?
So
Who's
he
the guy in the black and white footage.
So after he becomes All-American.
Wait, is it Kennedy?
No. It's Is it so? It's when he drinks all the Cokes or the root beers,
Dr.
right?
Peppers.
The Dr.
Right.
Peppers.
Yeah.
And he says, "I have to go pee." Yeah, it is Kennedy,
No, wait.
right?
No, it's the older guy with the chubby face.
Well, no. So he says, "I gotta pay.
I believe he said he had to go pee.
I gotta go pay."
I'm going
Kennedy.
I'm going Kennedy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Kennedy.
Let's go.
Yes.
That's a good question because
He asks him, how does it feel to be an All-American? And
Yeah,
he says,
that's right.
I have to pay.
That's so funny when he sees the Dr. Peppers and then they cut and there's like 10 empty bottles of Dr. Pepper.
What does he say? Must have drank me 15 Dr. Peppers?
Yeah.
must drive me 15 Dr. Peppers.
I run like the wind blows.
That's a good one. That was 3 good questions.
That was a great quiz.
Because he meets 2 or 3 presidents, plus he calls Watergate for
Yeah.
Nixon. So
Yeah.
good job,
Right.
guys. Wow, that was the best pop quiz question segment we've ever had.
Agreed.
3 for 3. All right, Anthony, what do we got for haters this week? Anybody?
No haters.
No haters
I don't have
that-
my phone on me.
No, Hold on, I think I found one earlier. Let me see if I can find one real quick. If not, then we'll move on.
I follow you guys on TikTok. I've
Yeah.
tagged you on a couple videos now that I see, because I'll see something now on my For You page, and I'm like, dang, you guys would love this.
Oh, hell yeah.
But I always read the comments because I know there's going to be a bunch of unsubscribed comments. So I'll wait.
We love it. It's like an accidental slogan, and we get like 10 of those comments every day. It's great. It cracks us
Great.
up.
There was one of the merch things y'all released, I think, had it on there.
Yeah. I did like the Supreme logo, unsubscribed.
Yeah, I was gonna get one of the sweatshirts or something. I need to go do that.
Bro, we'll send you one.
Oh yeah,
Oh, that'd be
absolutely.
awesome.
Yeah, send us your address.
Yeah, send me a link of whatever you want, and I'll send it to you.
All right, we have. Oh, sorry. All right, okay, we have a 5-star review from Cat Lady 57. Love these two; they are amazing and really do their homework. Keep it up, guys, or unsubscribe. That's
I
really
appreciate
sweet.
it, Cat
Thank
Lady.
you, Cat Lady. Who Anthony might become someday. Today is February 10th. On this day in film history, in 1995, Billy Madison was released. In 2017, the Lego Batman movie and John Wick Chapter 2 was released. And happy birthday to Laura Dern, Elizabeth Banks, Emma Roberts, and Chloe Grace Moretz. My streaming recommendation for this episode is Blade Runner, the classic. It's on Netflix. Check it out for free if you have Netflix.
And I recommend Parallel Mothers, which stars Penelope Cruz. It's Pedro Almodovar's new film. It's only available for rental, but it's a really terrific film.
Nice.
Do you love movie posters? If you do, there's no better place to get your posters online than at movieposters.com, the #1 place to get your posters. They have a gigantic selection of every film and TV show imaginable in their arsenal, as well as all sorts of sizes, framing, backlighting, whatever your poster needs are. Movieposters.com can handle it. Use our special promo code Raiders10 to get 10% off your order today. If you're looking at our set online on YouTube, you will see that it is covered with these amazing posters, high quality stuff. We love them. Whatever we want, we just hit them up and they send them the posters to us right away. They also collaborate with us in our movie poster giveaway contest. We just did one with our Reservoir Dogs episode. So if you want to enter to win a free Tarantino poster, make a comment in that YouTube video. In the meantime, don't forget to head on over to movieposters.com and use our special promo code Raiders10 to get 10% off your order today. All right, let's move back into the episode. Now, speaking of Silver Linings Playbook, which you mentioned in the intermission, I think there are some really good football movies that don't center on players or coaches. And Silver Linings is one of my favorites. It's set on the backdrop of the Philadelphia Eagles. Bradley Cooper's character and his entire family are diehards of the Eagles, and I love that film.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite aspects of the movie. Even though it's the Eagles, we're Pats fans, I still like the aspect of like the backdrop of the Eagles and how each character relates to the Eagles in different ways and how it's like part of his father's OCD, even though he'll never admit it. And it's just like is a great little trait
for
to
being
all the characters.
fans of football. We really related to it.
I thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
and I love that movie in general. It's really good.
Yeah, it's an awesome movie. Is that when Jennifer Lawrence won her first Oscar too?
That's correct.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
And then another great one is Jerry Maguire, and he plays a football agent. I think it's a terrific film.
Help me help you.
Yeah.
There are a few football scenes in that, but it's great because I don't know much about what it's like to be an agent and deal with players, and I'm sure you have more intel on that because it's part of your life. But I think that Tom Cruise is awesome in this movie, and I think Cuba Gooding Jr. was phenomenal as too, as his one client who's keeping him alive, and they work together and figure it all out. But it's got some iconic lines like "Help me, help you," "Show me the money," all that stuff. It's a great movie.
Who's coming with me?
Who's coming with me? And it's like a love story between Jerry Maguire and Renee Zellweger's character, but also he loves her son very much too. So it's a really touching film.
It's a touching film.
Yeah.
It's got a great ending.
Classic too.
And then Ace Ventura is also a football themed movie with the Dolphins, and Dan Marino makes a great appearance.
Yeah, it's a great cameo. Dude.
And so is the Dolphin.
So this is the original Ace Ventura, which I think might have the funniest opening scene I've ever seen in the movie, and this is where he's delivering the UPS package and he starts smashing it into stuff because it's a fake package to save the dog back.
Yeah.
But I love that movie.
Yeah, it's a great film.
It's one of Jim's best.
It's great.
Movie's hilarious.
And then Concussion with Will Smith.
Yeah, which is great. And that was an important movie to get made because, it brought awareness to CTE, and now there have been so many documentaries, and I'm sure you know all about the player safety protocols that have changed that was starting probably when you were in high school and now in the NFL as well.
And new
college
helmets too, right?
Everything.
Yeah. Yeah, especially with the helmets. Ever since then, helmets have been a big deal, and every year they have to go through all these ratings of safety protocol and stuff like that. So it's a huge issue, and obviously people always ask about injuries, and head trauma is the largest concern for people like us. So so that's it's kind of cool what that movie did, I guess, to kind of bring it into our life.
Yeah, dude, is there a fine that goes in if someone goes helmet to helmet, or is it just the penalty during the game?
I think there is a fine, and
I think there is some kind.
Because they got to get rid of that. Because remember, like 10 years ago, that wasn't even an illegal hit, and like people were just going head first, full on dives into people's faces. Like it was so dangerous what was going on.
Especially someone who plays the slot like him, and he'll go across the field.
Yeah. And just you get blindsided. But I mean, again, it is a sport where 250, 300-pound men are just smashing into each other for a living. So obviously injuries are going to happen, but they have been doing, I'm sure, a good job of trying to reduce that as much as possible at the end.
And also it works in your favor on the offense.
Yes. 100%. That's like you all saw Tom Brady probably had a quote about it pretty recently, how they're making the game harder for defensive players.
Yeah.
It's easier
100%.
Yeah.
But
I like how he pointed out, like, people should be paying more attention to how the quarterback is placing the ball and where they're placing the ball for the person catching it to catch it. Like even if he throws it off, it might look like it's a bad pass, but he's keeping the player from getting injured and taking a hard hit, even though like it looks like he's throwing it like behind the like Gronk on by accident, but he's actually getting Gronk to move his body out of the way of a hit, but while he catches it.
Yeah, that's one of those many nuances that the GOAT and other great players around the league do to keep each other safe.
You're taught to always turn the direction he puts the ball for that reason. They're doing it for a reason to keep you out of harm's way.
Makes sense. I have a question about football movies. So, are those big dramatic speeches, are those accurate, or what is it really like in the locker room? Is it just like we gotta do this and this, or is it like are there coaches that will go super dramatic and intense?
It definitely depends on the coach because I've had some that are. They just say the bare minimum, basically send you out there, and then some get fiery. And then also it depends on the game you're going into. If you're playing in a championship game or playoff game, then there's probably a little bit more juice in the atmosphere. And so maybe that speech will be elevated a bit. Whereas if you're playing in, some regular season game, maybe it's not as hyped up. So, but there's definitely, I've definitely had some speeches from coaches that, will make the hair stand up on your own.
Oh, that's epic.
Awesome. Just run through
I wish I would be like a fly on the wall.
But I'm sure like a majority of them are like, this is our objective for this game. This is what you're supposed to do. Let's change it up here. But like,
especially if you're making changes at halftime.
Yeah, but every player going into the game has things that they have to accomplish on their end to, keep the game flowing. It's just maintaining that and reminding everybody what to do and do your job, that whole thing, and then make those changes as well.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
All right. No.
Yeah. Spot on.
What is the most realistic football movie in terms of the gameplay?
I'm probably biased because Friday Night Lights is, like I said, is my favorite film. But I think the gameplay, there's a lot of over the top moments, but a lot of it's fairly realistic. Like when like Boobie Miles is running the ball, he's an athletic guy, that actor. So, so it looks pretty real. So I'd say that would be number one for me.
Yeah, it seems realistic to me. Like
seems like they're going full speed,
and it's pretty fast during the games too. Versus the slowness of other movies and stuff like that.
Right. And most unrealistic.
Oh, unrealistic. I always say Remember the Titans, just because I think it's funny how it might be the greatest football movie with the worst football scenes in it. Like when Sunshine goes in at quarterback and does his move, and then rips a dart. It's like, it's not realistic at all. But at the same time, you enjoy watching it. So.
Yeah. It's like The Replacements. That's not realistic.
They went more for
movie.
entertainment than accuracy. Yeah.
In an important story.
That makes sense, though, now that you think back on the games, especially with, 120-pound Ryan Gosling playing cornerback.
Yeah, well, again, a suspect at corner. And I've gotten into arguments where people think that he plays linebacker. It's like, first of all, his jersey's in the 20s. Second of all, like Anthony said, he's 120 pounds soaking wet in that movie. There's no way he's playing linebacker. Maybe Pop Warner, but he's definitely a cornerback. All right, moving on to best quarterbacks in movies. Who do you guys think are the best quarterbacks in movies? I think I've already made my case about Shane Falco.
Shane Falco, bro.
All time.
Shane Falco.
All time.
I'll say Lance Harbor in Varsity Blues just for his speech. Pre-game speech.
When he takes over as coach in the second half at the end of the movie. So that's Paul Walker. Paul Walker's character, right? Yeah. And then Johnny Moxon takes his job. But yeah, that's a great ending. They're like, screw the coach. I have a couple others too. So
what we got?
I have Uncle Rico and Napoleon Dynamite. All time.
How much you want to bet I could throw a pigskin over all those mountains?
So good. He just takes the steak and whips it off his face.
Whips it on his face. Oh, man.
People always forget about Uncle Rico, man.
That's a great one. That's a great one.
Legend. And then I have Johnny Utah in Point Break.
Oh, Johnny Utah.
Yeah,
Great
classic. Yeah.
A little beach football.
Yeah. Ohio State, right? Yeah, I think so.
All right. Okay, for both of you, what real story would make a great football movie that hasn't been made yet?
What story?
Yeah, like what player or coach or football team or story would make a great movie?
I put down when you sent this question to me, I know you guys are huge Boston sports fans, so I think they got to do something on Tom Brady.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure someday.
They have to.
Yeah.
And there's so many possibilities. Either you can do him like rising through college to winning his first Super Bowl, like that's a whole movie, or even the Falcons Super Bowl being down 28-3, that's a whole movie, or the entire like epic career of 20 years of the ups and downs.
I think the best movie to do of Tom Brady would be not getting getting drafted at 199. So showing him coming out of Michigan, watching the draft, being like thinking he's not going to get drafted, like, and he tells the stories like, I thought my resume I was going to need at some point to go find a job, and then he finally gets 199th pick, and then he's fourth string quarterback on the Patriots. He's like just off practice squad, but he was like fourth ranked because they carried. I think they carried 4 quarterbacks.
They carried him without using him. They had no plan to use him, but they wanted him.
And then 2001, just the story of Bledsoe getting that free hit, getting out of the game, and Brady getting put in, and then the rest is history. And then I would just make the rest of the movie is him winning that Super Bowl at the end of the year, and the Patriots winning in 2001.
That might be a great way to do it
against the Rams, because the Rams, remember, that was the greatest show on turf. That team was absurdly stacked, and like no one thought the Patriots were going to win that game. I mean, that team was insane. They had Marshall Faulk, and then what's his name at quarterback? Kurt Warner at quarterback. Quarterback. That team was insane. Yeah. But that's how I would do it if I was making a Tom Brady movie. It's easy.
That'd be great. Or you could even do the last 2 years of his career and him leaving New England and going to Tampa Bay.
That's another great take.
But you know what's actually probably going to happen is I bet someone makes a movie about Deflategate.
Oh,
that's probably what will happen. They would. That like Adam McKay would make like a Deflategate
movie. Tom Brady's evil. but actually, since he's got such a long spanning career, like it would have to be a TV series, like 6 seasons. Like it's just absurd how much he's done.
Yeah, but I think
I like the Michigan winning the first Super Bowl. That's really great.
Coming out of college. Yeah, because that's an underdog story right there.
He went from being unwanted to being the champion,
and then now he's the greatest of all time. Yeah, which is I think
they'll do a doc on him like they did The Last Dance on Jordan, and I'm sure it'll probably be pretty similar to that, which would be pretty.
It's actually they've been doing one on ESPN.
Man in the Arena.
Man in the Arena.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Plus his 30 for 30s are great, and then he's been in there's been 3 documentaries on Brady. The Brady 6 is a really great documentary. I don't know if you've seen that. Really. It's about the 6 quarterbacks that were drafted ahead of him and how they're all out of the league and how he was still just winning Super Bowls and being MVP at the time. Yeah, that's a really good doc.
Yeah. Man. So Tom Brady is a great pick. I almost have him, but I think Bo Jackson would be a really terrific film.
That'd be awesome.
Because he was such a freak athlete playing 2 sports at a high level. And then obviously the tragic injury that cut his career so short. If he had been able to keep playing for another 10 years, people would probably consider him the greatest athlete of all time if he had been able to keep doing what he was doing. So I think it's a fascinating story with like how he grew up. All these crazy mythical stories about his like natural abilities, especially when he was a kid. There's like crazy stories of what he could do athletically. Also, like he didn't really hit the weight room that much. He was so naturally gifted. I think that Friday Night Lights, that character was inspired by Bo Jackson would be my guess. But I think it's a fascinating story.
A Deion Sanders movie would be cool too.
Oh,
as a 2-sport athlete as well, professionally playing baseball as well. And playing cornerback. And then I think also Barry Sanders would be a cool movie because I think Barry Sanders is the best running back of all time. And he ended his career early, suddenly, which no one expected. But I mean, if he played out like another 5 years, the stats that guy would have ended up with in his career would have been absurd. And like when you just watch Barry Sanders run, it's like another being. It's not even human.
You know what would be a fun movie would be the Bears championship team in the 80s and how wild they were.
Oh, that would be good.
Like the parties and stuff. Yeah. That would be a fun movie.
Or a Raiders movie, like the old Raiders teams, like Romanowski. Those teams were wild, man. Uh-huh. Good question. I like that.
All right, here's the next one. Okay, I'm gonna name a player or a coach, and you're gonna have to give me someone who could play them in a movie, an actor. So Bill Belichick, who would you pick?
I'm going Steve Carell. I think he could pull it off, and like he's cool with like transformations. Like in Foxcatcher, you barely recognize him, but I think Steve Carell could pull off Bill Belichick because I would cast someone kind of young compared to Belichick now. Just put like prosthetics on him
and make him gain
so he
some
can
weight.
do like multiple points of his career.
Yeah, Steve Carell's the first one that comes to mind. I would also say I think Gary Oldman could do it.
Oh yeah,
that's a good choice.
Yeah. After seeing the prosthetics in Darkest Hour and him changing, he's done that for a lot of movies, right?
Yeah. Red Dragon is insane what he did.
Yeah,
and Fifth Element too.
Right. I think he could. His voice down. Yeah. He's good voice actor and stuff like that.
Yeah. So we just go out there to play football. Is what we're doing. Yeah. So I gave the ball to the running back, and we just ran it.
That's actually really good. That's really good.
Well, we scored more points than they scored, so we won.
What kind of question is that?
All right, so the actor I would pick is Jack Nicholson.
That'd be great,
Jack
man.
Nicholson is Bill Belichick.
You think he's a little too old though?
Just cast him like imagine 20 years ago.
Okay, Jack, 20 years
or
ago.
10 years ago.
Also,
Like
I think Mark Ruffalo might be able to do it.
yeah, possibly. All right, next up, who would you pick to play Tom Brady in a movie?
Michael Fassbender.
Oh, great pick. Great pick.
Kind of looks like
Yeah,
him.
he's
Kinda looks like
tall.
him.
They look similar. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say Chris Pine because they're around
Chris
the same
Pine.
age. Kind
Oh
of.
yeah, I
Yeah.
can see that for sure.
They have similar
He's got,
faces.
got
yeah.
like a pretty good build and stuff. He could be a quarterback.
I have Jamie Dornan, who was just in Belfast, and he's a great actor from what's it called? The series
50 Shades of Grey.
50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah. But also Belfast, he's awesome. That's
Yeah.
that's a good pick because he's a tall guy too. Because
Yeah,
he's like
he's a big
6'2",
guy.
I think. But Tom's 6'4", so it's like
You need someone tall.
It's tough casting someone like that tall
Yeah.
with the acting chops and the look of Brady.
Yeah.
That's why I think Fassbender could do it.
Yeah,
he's like
that's a good
6'1",
pick.
6'2".
Yeah. All right, Gronkowski,
Chris Hemsworth.
Hemsworth. I have Hemsworth.
I have Channing Tate-Young.
I love him. What a great reference. Sick reference, bro. Everybody knows your references are out of control. Yes, double reference.
Oh man, yeah, that's a great pick.
That's a good pick. Yeah, that's actually perfect.
Yeah, that's a great
Oh
pick.
man,
I think he played tight end too in college.
seems like it. Yeah.
Yeah, when he has the buzz cut, he looks just like Gronk.
Yeah.
If you think about it, yeah.
Yeah,
All
he's
right.
a bigger guy too. He could pull it
Yeah.
off.
All right,
Choice.
the last one is Odell Beckham Jr.
I'm going Trevante Rhodes, who was in Moonlight.
Oh, okay, great pick.
I picked Michael B. Jordan.
So did I.
Yeah,
Michael B.
That's
Jordan.
a pretty good pick.
I think
pretty
he
obvious
could pull
guys.
off he could pull off the charisma.
Yeah, that's true. That would be a good movie too, an Odell Beckham movie.
Yeah.
He's a big star.
All right, next up, I have a list of players who have acted in movies. So Terry Crews was actually an NFL player for a long time. He played on the Rams, the Chargers, and Washington, the Commanders now.
That's right. Yeah, and he's in a ton of movies,
Yeah.
and TV shows. So yeah.
Then John David Washington, he played on the Rams. One I was surprised by was Carl Weathers played on the Raiders, which I did not know about.
Yeah.
And I think he's the best actor who was an NFL player.
In this whole list?
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be. He's awesome.
Rocky, yeah.
Predator.
Rocky Balboa, right?
Dude,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
awesome. So good.
Yeah. And then we have Terry Bradshaw, played basically himself in movies. Failure to Launch as McConaughey's dad. And then in Hooper, it was a Bert Reynolds movie.
That's the second failure to launch reference in this episode. That's so weird. That is so weird.
He's so good in that movie, though.
Yeah.
All of his scenes are funny.
He's perfect. Like they cast him to be himself, and it worked perfectly.
Super personable guy.
Yeah. And then Howie Long in Broken Arrow.
Classic. Iconic in that movie.
I
Him and
love that movie.
Travolta.
Such a good movie.
Yeah,
Yeah, Hans Zimmer score. And then O.J. Simpson had a big acting career before his trial. He was in all the Naked Gun movies, The Towering Inferno and Natural Born Killers. O.J. was, you could say, was the biggest star in the world in America at that time.
Oh, Juice, yeah.
And he was beloved by everyone before the trial, but he was a big time actor.
And he's probably gonna have a huge Hollywood career too. I mean, he was almost up for Terminator.
Yeah,
like
he
we
was.
talked
Yeah, he was
about,
first
too,
choice.
which ironically probably would have been perfect. Next up, we have Tommy Brady, who's in Ted 2 and Stuck on You. Great roles. He's got
He's the griller and Stuck on You, right?
He's a computer like nerd, like computer guy. Like that's his role. He's got like the big sideburns and like a goofy mustache. I think Lawyer Malloy is in that scene too, as well, who is also played on the Patriots. And then Jim Brown was in the Dirty Dozen.
And he was in Jim Brown was in a lot of blaxploitation films as well.
And then Brett Favre was in there. Something About Mary. Brett Favre. And every Wrangler commercial since 1998.
When he shows up at the end of that movie, though, I remember watching that for the first time. Not
That
expecting.
was so funny.
In his prime.
Because you just think it's going to be some random guy named Brett, and it's Brett Favre.
And then Michael Irvin, the longest yard. Yeah.
I'm taking Carl Weathers as the best out of that list.
The best actor?
Yeah.
Carl, because he's got such a long career. Like, I feel like John David Washington will pass that at some point. But I'd probably say, like, Carl Weathers, like, my favorite of them all.
Yeah,
But I think, John David will get there eventually.
Yeah.
I mean, he's in Tenet. The movie's sick.
Yeah.
And Black Klansman. Yeah, I think is that it?
That wraps everything, yeah.
Yeah. Thanks so much for joining us, Brock. That was a lot of fun.
That was great.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. It was a blast.
You got anything else you want to add or anything? Or you good?
Nothing. I got to stay subscribed, I guess, for a little bit longer.
Hell yeah. Are you still on the Lions? Are you going to be playing next year on the Lions?
Yeah, well, I'm technically right now it's an exclusive rights free agent since I was brought up from the practice squad to the active roster, so it becomes like a 1-year deal. So hopefully re-sign with them sometime next month, and then I would love to stay in Detroit. That'd be awesome.
Good luck, man.
Hell yeah, man. So happy for you. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Be sure to check out and follow Brock's next season. You can find him on Instagram at Brock Wright on Instagram or something.
Yeah, at Brock J. Wright.
At Brock J. Wright. Thanks so much, pal.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much for tuning in to Raiders of the Lost podcast. Be sure to subscribe if you're new. Hit the like button, leave a comment. Find us on all audio streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts, you can find us. Find us on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Raiders of the Lost podcast. Be sure to check out one of these other videos right here for more content on our favorite films and breaking down all kinds of movie content. Thanks so much.